0151 708 1059.
Radio City 2.
Late Night City. And now, my story. Real people, real stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a father sitting over here who's not going to keep quiet. I know he's not going to keep quiet. I've got Elliott Hanna in the studio, who's combed his hair twice, ready for the interview.
Don't even start.
Absolutely great. Absolutely great. Elliott, the first time I met you was with Taylor. It was in Church Street. You were filming. It was Sky Television. I fell in love with these two kids who were remarkable dancers. You and this amazing young lady, and the two of you together. And do you know what I remember about that dance routine? All those dance routines is, and I always remember her saying this, she totally trusted you as a partner, as a dancer, because you threw her everywhere, you picked her up, you carried her, whatever. And I thought that was amazing. And that, as an older man, stayed with me. There's this young girl who has got a great talent as well.
Yeah.
And whatever you did together, she trusted you. That is important in dance, isn't it?
I mean, off stage, it was all fun and games. It was all, oh, I hate you, Elliot, oh, I hate you too, Taylor. But then when it comes on stage, you sort of have to put that aside.
Yeah.
And then say, no, like, your life is in my hands right now. And even though I was 8, I still understood that. And there has been times when I've dropped her, like, obviously, but then the connection is a big thing as well. You can't dance with someone who you don't connect to, obviously. But
Elliott, you've done amazing things. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
You've always been into dance. You've got an incredibly supportive family around you that have pushed and pushed and pushed, and there's been no argument over that. Start at the beginning. When did you first get interested in dance?
It was actually my dad who was being the embarrassing dad that he'd normally be and dance in front of me and stuff like that. And I'd start copying him, and he just said, you know what, you should start dancing. And then my mum was like, yes, that's a great idea. And this is when I was 4, and I started with break dancing. Sadly, I don't do that anymore, which I'm really upset about. I started at Nazine Danielle's Dance Dynamics with the break dancing, and then Nazine basically, I don't know if the word scouted me, but she said, come and try the other types of dance of like modern, tap, ballet. I was resistant straight away. I was like, no, absolutely not. Me, a lad, 4 years old, and no, I don't want to do it. Blah, blah, blah. But it was the best decision I ever made to start dancing like that. Yeah. And look where that's got me, and I'm so grateful, and I can't wait for everything.
I'm going to see where it got you, because we're going to go on this journey. What annoys me about dance is that, I mean, I've been around dance all my life because I've been in the business for 50 years. But what annoys me is people have no idea of the work that you do behind the scenes, do they? They just think you get up and do it.
No, it's unfortunate, really, because you get people that sort of use dancing as an insult and stuff like that. Oh, you're a lad, you do dancing, that's wrong. No, not really. The amount of stress that people go through to make a performance for everyone is unreal. Like, especially in Billy Elliot that I've been in, it was constant training every day. You don't train for a year and then that's it, you just go and do shows. You'll do rehearsals for shows, rehearsals before the show, rehearsals for one dance, like, constantly. But in the end, it is worth it. It is.
Now, how did you find Taylor as a partner? How did you find each other? And why did the Sky thing work for you? And talk about the Sky and the auditions and everything.
Well, it started with a competition called the Janet Cram, and that Taylor won, I think it was the junior girls, and I won the junior boys, and our principal, Mr. Zine, said, right, let's put these together. And we did, and we made some routines, and we entered Got to Dance. And when we got there, it was just very, very overwhelming. The cameras were everywhere. As soon as we stepped into the place, the cameras were everywhere. And we stepped in, signed our name, and they went, all right, you're going to get a quick interview. And we were like, oh, great, we never had one of these before. But I think the repetitiveness, if that's a word, the repetitiveness of it was the key to, unlike, basically relaxing But like I say, camera stuff is what I want to do in the world when I'm older.
How
And
old
so
are you
that-
now, by the way?
14.
How old were you when you were doing the Sky programme?
8. Yeah, 8, 9.
Tell me how far you got, or remind everybody. I knew how far you got, but to remind everybody how far you got with it.
We got into the top 3, which I never thought we'd ever get. We were 2 dancers from Liverpool, very young, 8 and 10, against professional river dance dancers. We thought we'd get no chance. But, wow, being in top 3 was just amazing. It really was.
How much of your time did it take, and where did schooling fit into that?
Schooling was okay for the rehearsal period, but we'd be in dance every single day. And then when it came to the live shows, we'd be in London quite a bit rehearsing. And yeah, it was stressful. There was tears, there was sweat. There wasn't any blood. No, was there? I don't know.
Maybe a little
Probably
spot,
blood steps,
yeah.
but all that blood, sweat and tears, it was all of that.
Yeah. So were the school supportive?
Yeah, it was a bit reluctant at first, but then when they found out what it was, then they were like, of course, yes, our pupil's going to be in a Sky programme, that's great.
Could you believe how Liverpool got behind you? Because they really did, didn't they?
As soon as we were on telly and the support that came in, we were like, oh my God, we are just 2 kids. We'd never thought that everyone would be like, yes, do it. Guys, you can do this. And that was the thing that kept us, me going. I don't know about Taylor, but it did, definitely. But the Liverpool community is just unbelievable.
If they
Can't
get
knock
behind
it.
somebody, but I tell you what, they don't just get behind you. If you've got to have talent,
Yeah.
if you've not got talent, they won't stick with you. They're a fickle crowd. Now, I was overwhelmed, as you know, by what I saw with the 2 of you, and went back to the Liverpool Empire, to First Family, who were doing the panto at the time, which have done 32 pantos now.
Yeah.
And I knew that would work. And I was really excited about it. In the ballroom scene in Cinderella, you got the call. Were you pleased about it?
I think it was 2nd, 3rd panto that I'd done, and I was very, very excited because I knew the routines that we were going to be doing would amaze the crowd, hopefully. And when we were doing it, it was like a little fairy tale, to be honest. It sounds cringy, but it was. It felt like it. The only problem I had was with that horse. Sorry. Right before our dance, it would go and wee on the stage. Like,
Which caused, it was dangerous because, I mean, we laugh about it, but in fact it was dangerous because the stage area has got to be cleared for a dancer, because if you have an accident,
you slip, that's
you
it.
slip, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
What I loved, every night I watched, because I was on the next scene, but I watched anyway, and the 2 of you didn't half argue before you went on, and then... The magic was there, but you went, she was a right bully sometimes, and I just used to make me laugh. And I went, if you heard these 2, and then it was show business sets in.
Like I said before, it's all fun and games and arguments, but you've got to put that aside. Now, Taylor was the boss, I'm not going to lie. Taylor was always going to be the boss. But you know, the man, or the boy in my case then, has that responsibility, and you just tend to ignore that.
When did you get the call about Billy Elliott?
Billy Elliott. So I went through a audition process for about 2 months, and then we did a summer school in July, which went on for 6 weeks. We called that intensive training, just to see how we cope. And then it was around about August or September 2012, and I was on the way to dance, and my mum got a call in the car from the Billy company, and then I was sort of in the back of the car, my mum was in the front. We got out, and then she was like looking at me with these eyes like, oh my god, and I was like, what's going on? And then she put the phone down and she went, you've got the part. I didn't go to dance that day, obviously, because I was ecstatic. I was thrilled. I just knew what was happening. I knew what was about to happen, and knew the journey that I was going to go through.
And of course you couldn't say anything.
No, I couldn't
because
say
of the
anything.
press. I mean, I was desperate. I knew because I'm in the industry.
Yeah.
And I knew, and I wanted an interview, and I knew there was no point in even asking for the interview because
it'd be a no.
I know the way it works. Now, you see, what you've just said then, I'll go and see Billy Elliott. You come on stage, wow. But people don't realise what you went through to get to that part.
So, the default training period should have been 6 months for a Billy. Now, when I got there, I was the youngest Billy that there'd been. I was only 9, and I took a year to train, obviously because of my age and the amount I was allowed to do because of my age. There was crying, there was blood, there was sweat, but after a year of all that, you tend to suck it up and just say, you know what, this is all going to be worth it when I make my debut as a performer on the stage. And the first show was just, for me, it was amazing, and I thought, you know what, this is worth it. I might have sweated till I have no sweat left, and I might have cried till I've had no tears left, but it was just worth it. I can't describe that.
How did it work with chaperones? Because at 9 years old, you can't be on your own. So how did that work?
The chaperones had to do their job, and I'm so grateful for them. Like, they kept us safe in every single part, but I think we had to go from being a kid to being a mature professional worker. And at 9 years old, I found that really, 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 really difficult.
Well, because you're a kid.
Yeah, I know.
You're a 9-year-old child, for goodness sake. So I understand that completely.
Yeah.
And hopefully the public will understand that, understandably. But
Yeah.
it is a business you're in. It's an industry. You look at somebody like Judy Garland, who was on the set all her life, and she had the most screwed up life ever. So you need that chaperone. But where did your family fit into that? Because you must have got terribly homesick, surely.
My family had to stay home. They weren't going to move to London, obviously too expensive. So I stayed in our house, and with all the Billies, Debbies and Michaels.
How many of you?
There's probably about 14 at the time. 14 kids surrounded by 2 adults. It's just too much. But when I went home, there'd be some times when I'd come home and I'd be like, I don't want to go back. Only because I was homesick, and the stress was ridiculous sometimes. Oh, I've got to do this show and I've got to rehearsal. I'm tired. I can't do this. And so when I got home, it was just like, Mom, I don't want to go back. And she was like, no, you go back because you've trained for this. And you were the same. You were like, you've trained for this.
Yeah. Also, you haven't got a life. You're a 9-year-old boy with mates and girlfriends and doing things that 9-year-olds do.
Yeah.
So that's taken from you, isn't it?
It was
for your
completely
dream.
taken.
That's taken from you.
You've got to make sacrifices, haven't you? That was a big one. I think saying goodbye to my mates and normal everyday 9-year-old life to be a professional performer. But then again, I'm looking back at it now, and it was a great decision. It was.
Have your mates supported you, or have you had any grief from any of them out of jealousy?
Not my mates, no. My mates will always be behind me. But when I did go back to school, and while I was in Billy and went back to secondary school, I was in an all-boys school. And I think it's going back to that thing of they don't really get it. And it was just, oh, you dance, I don't know how to use it, but you're gay. And I was like, I don't care. And I'm not. But I don't care if I was. I really don't. And if only people were to see what it is and what it's like to go through training and the happiness you get out of that, it's a shame.
I'm really glad you brought that up there.
Yeah.
Matthew Bourne. Most of the guys are straight.
Yeah.
They're hard-nosed dancers that are straight. But first of all, their sexuality is nothing to do with anybody.
It's got nothing to do.
Thank goodness straight boys, if we've got to use brands, are going into dance now.
Yeah.
And rightly so. Dance is not, God, here's a word that you weren't even born, a sissy job. That's what they used to call them in those days. Sissies. It is a ludicrous situation.
Yeah.
Dominic North is a friend of mine. He's married with a child now.
Yeah.
He's a straight guy. Why do people presume it? Why should they presume it? And what's it got to do with anyone? And anyone, it doesn't alter you as a dancer. How have you coped with that, you yourself?
It was hard at the beginning. I did try, and when they'd say, oh, bloody, bloody, blah, Eddie, you're this, you're that, I would try and confront them and say, look, this is what it is. And I'd say, you know what, you guys want to be footballers. That's great. I get that. I love football myself. But you see a lot of the footballers now and rugby players going into Pilates and dancing to train. But then it got to the point where I just coped by myself. And I was just like, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is my dream. I don't care if anyone doesn't want that because it's me. And, you know, when you're on that stage and you're performing to everyone, you just sort of think, you get a little buzz out of it because you're like, hey, you know, those guys were saying, you can't do this, that's wrong, you're an idiot, blah, 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 blah. I don't care because I'm on stage. That's great.
Let me stop you there. You said this is your dream and you didn't care. What's your message to every young man listening now who wants to be Elliott?
I think it's just like the Nike phrase, isn't it? Just do it. Don't listen to anyone that puts you down. That's not the way to do it. If you want to go be the best dancer in the world, then you put the work in for it. Now, obviously, I'm not saying I'm the greatest worker in the world, because I'm not. But if you really want something, you'll always find it in you to do it.
There'll be people listening
That's
now
it.
that have given up because of the gay thing, because they're frightened of
That-
people.
I feel
and
like-
it makes me so angry. That.
Yeah, that makes me angry as well, because dance now, if you're saying like people are stopping because of the gay thing now, that's ridiculous, because it was worse back then.
Oh.
Here, it's more acceptable. Dance industry is going so far.
Yeah.
Everywhere is doing it. I just feel if you still think that's the problem, try it, because it's not.
Do you know what I love, Elliott? And I've said it a million times on this programme, and I go and judge dance competitions. Not that I'm clever at it, but I know a little bit about it. What I love is, it's one, getting people off the street, kids off the street.
Yeah.
Two, giving them fantastic exercise. Three, a lot of people have been accepted, whatever shape they are,
Yeah.
which is great. And you know yourself, because you've been in for a million dance competitions, when we go to the Empire, you go to the Echo Arena, the atmosphere is electric. Everyone's having a wonderful time. And they're not hanging on the street corners smoking spliffs.
No, yeah. It's not about winning. It's not about, oh, you know what, I'm not going to dance because I'm rubbish. No, it's the atmosphere. The show, when I did Billy, I didn't do it because, oh, I'd love to do this dance. I didn't do it because, this was my favourite scene. I loved it because of the atmosphere you get from the people and the public. So it's the same with dance competitions. You go and you just, it's the experience. It's nothing else, it's the experience and opportunity that you get.
Explain to me, or try and explain to me and the listeners, your emotion, your feelings when you went on stage for the first time as Billy. And where was it?
When I went on stage, it's the first song and you get pushed on by your dad. I'm not going to say the word because that's how I felt. It was just one word. It was, oh, poo. Yeah, that's basically all it was. It was just, oh, poo, because you realise that a whole year has gone past. You've trained for a year. It's gone like that. And you're on stage and you're performing live in front of 1,500 people. What do you do? But then as the show went on, it was like, oh my God, yes, I'm doing it. This is amazing and amazing and amazing. And when you finish the show, you just feel so good about yourself.
What is the life span of an Elliott, a Billy Elliott?
They range depending on, obviously, puberty, basically. I went from 9 till 12 and then I was called back for like 2 months. But that's because I was getting too tall for the part, which I thought was crazy because I wasn't the tallest lad that you've ever seen in your life. I was only about 5'1", 2" when I left. But now they're getting, and I think I started this trend where you get younger Billies in because they last longer. Like when I went in, I was with Billies who were 14 and who were still in the show, which I thought was really weird considering I was 9.
Yeah.
But so, you know, some people can be 14 but have the highest voice in the world and don't grow any hair, any moustache or nothing. When that starts to happen, that's when they say, okay, that's it now. It just varies, to be honest. It really does.
It's an amazing show. The picket line is an incredible piece of theatre.
Yeah.
An incredible piece of theatre. Did you enjoy every second of it?
Yeah, I did. It was amazing. It was good. It was.
Was it sad when it came to an end?
Yes, it was. It really was. It when I watched it in the Empire, I was just like, I wish I could do that again. And when I watched it, I was just like, I really want to do it again. And hopefully it returns. And yeah, it's just memories for days. It was just memories after memory after memory after memory. And just to be able to relive them and do better. Like, sometimes in a show or in a day of Billy life, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to do this show today, I can't be bothered. Now I'm thinking, I wish I had put 100%, I tried to put 100% into everything, but then I wish I'd done better in a rehearsal and stuff like that.
But you say that. You know damn well how good you are. You know how talented you are. And you know whatever mood anyone, when we're in panto, whatever we do, when anyone's in that mood, as soon as you go on, doctor show business starts, and you go on stage, and you know you have it. And there are performances where you think, I could have done better. But we all say that. Every one of us says that. Whether you're the comic, whether you're the genie, whether you're the dancer, whatever. Looking back, you're an intelligent young man, 14 now. Do you think you've had a taste of show business stardom too early, or has that set you on a grounding, in your opinion?
I'd say it was a great place to start. I think coming out of Got to Dance and then going straight into that was great. I'm just in a position now, especially because I'm trying to get into the acting industry as well. Obviously, theatre is going to have a special place in my heart, but film and TV is the ultimate goal. I'm in a bit of a tight situation here because I look too old to play 14, 13-year-olds, but I'm not able to play 16, 15-year-olds because I still need a chaperone. So I was sent to an audition, which I found really funny. I was sent to the Mary Poppins remake audition for one of the kids, and the scene was where I had to discuss with my mum why I don't like bubbles in my bath. I had to play a 9-year-old in this audition, and I turned up to the audition, and no word of a lie, this kid next to me sat next to me, half the size of me, blonde hair, and he went, "Hi, my name's Thomas." And I was like, "Hello, yeah, I'm Elliott. Nice to meet you. Are you here for the audition?" "Oh yeah, what part you playing?" "Oh, I'm playing, I think his name was Tommy." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm playing Tommy as well." And he was like, "Oh." And I was like, oh, why am I in this audition? But I just got to wait till I'm suddenly that age and it's going to start again.
But you know what, Elliott? It's an industry we're in where you'll see that in your 20s.
Yeah.
You'll see it in your 30s. Yeah. Then, please God, you're still in the industry. In your 50s, you might be too old to play that or too young to... Yeah. It is the most bizarre. None of us fathom what they're looking for when they're casting. Yeah. You know, it's a crazy industry.
It's the craziest industry there is, but I also think it's the toughest.
Oh, without any shadow of a doubt. And I think dancers, touch wood, have you had many injuries or you been all right?
Oh, they call me Sick Note in Billy. Yeah, the amount of
Sick Note, Elliott.
Injuries for days. I think I've sprained my right ankle 4 times and my left one twice, I think it was.
And how do you cope with that?
You just got to get on, isn't it? You still get paid though, so it's okay.
Yeah, it is difficult, isn't it? Because some of you dancers work with the injuries.
I was getting a bit scared when I got to especially my 3rd sprain on my right ankle, and then I sprained my ankle on my left. I thought, hang on, is this the end of my dance career in Billy already? And you know, because they still come back and haunt you. Sometimes I'll get nags in my ankle again, and you have to stop. And I don't want to stop now because I'm only 14. That's ridiculous if I was to stop now. Yeah. But it's the motive, it's the determination, and I think in show business and this entertainment industry, determination, if you don't have that, you're not going to get anywhere. You're really not.
So what are you up to today? You're 14 years old. Mm-hmm. You're in no man's land, you're doing auditions, but you're still dancing? You're still training? Or
training.
Not?
I'm still training, like any other dancer would. I've been to different countries doing competitions, and that's been really inspiring, especially went to Las Vegas. the talent and the technique and the ideas that they have there is just, I'd say, way more advanced than here. And it just inspires you. So when we came back to England, I think our dance school changed. Our principal, Mr. Zine, was like, oh my God, we need to step up our game. And I think everyone else is realising that here too. But apart from that, I'm just a regular normal boy who is training, getting back into school, which is great, and auditioning for everything and just trying to get out there again.
Are you looking or thinking of going to acting school? Or you don't think you need it?
No, obviously, of course I need more lessons, of course, that no one's perfect. But my dream, well, not my dream, but like, the general idea is to go to London when I'm 16. That is the default. I have to go to London because everything is there. Sadly, it is there, but everything is, like, agent is there, auditions are mostly there, great schools are there, and opportunities there. So that's where I'm going to go.
In your opinion, as a dancer, 14 years old, the world's in front of you, do you think Dance Moms has done any favours or a disservice to the dancing world?
I'd say, especially in America, it's opened so many kids' minds. Like, look at Maddie Ziegler, for example. Like, she was on Dance Moms, and look at the inspiration that's come from that. And I think, no, it has opened kids' minds to dancing. It has, and I think it's doing it here. Like, look how many more people are dancing now. And you could have two different arguments for that. You could have, oh no, it's not, it's deserviced it, but it's not. It has favoured it in some ways.
To finish off, Elliott, first of all, thank you so much for coming in. I'm so pleased we see each other again.
That's okay.
Because it was great working with you two in Panto. I've watched your career, and hey, it's only just started, I promise you.
No.
Have you got any titles now? Because you've had a few titles over the years.
I got Northwest Tap Champ, and I thought I got that by the skin of my teeth, but the talent here is getting so much higher, and it does motivate you to get better. I also got Bally Champ of, I think it was Northwest as well, but then when I got that, they gave me a letter. It's quite funny. They gave me a letter and they said, right, we need you to return for like the whole country championships in 2018 of January 2018. I did this in 2016, this competition. They said 2 years later, come back. I guess it's training. I guess it's more training. I guess it is.
To finish off, your advice to any young people out there that want to do what you've done?
I think the main little phrase is, give a little to get a little. If you give it, you're going to get it. Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Don't ignore everyone that says, don't do it, because they've not really done anything themselves. Guaranteed, if someone says, don't do that because it's stupid, they've never done anything in their life. And that's how I feel. When that happened to me, I just thought, no, I'm going to do it, because I'm going to prove you wrong. Just make everyone you know proud. That's all it is. Do what you want to do, and that's all you can say.
And have you got a message for Miss Nazine?
Miss Nazine, I love you. Your teaching is ridiculous, and please don't change a thing. Thank you.
And the last question. 14, good-looking lad, always with your dad. Girlfriend or not right now?
Yeah, girlfriend. It's coming up to 2 years, basically, so...
Sorry, girls, I tried for you.
I'm sorry.
I tried for you.
Don't give hate, it's okay.
Elliott Hanna, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you, Pete.
Late Night City with Pete Price, Radio City 2.
Beating your friends in fantasy football's fun, but with 6-shot fantasy football, you could finally reap the rewards.